Welcome back everyone to Factory Town episode 10. You join me here having completed a little bit of the conveyor belt marathon that is for the milk. There's been a couple of updates since last time we played, so there are now trains, steam locomotives specifically. Minecarts no longer go uphill without aid, so you either need to have a locomotive or there is a new building, the steam engine. And then there's also apparently now water pumps and train stations. So I've not really looked too much into that. It's not something we're going to be jumping into just yet. And our mana transmission research is just completed, which is great. Let's quickly set up a new one. Mana power, I think, is the next one we're going to want. So let's get on with that. The other slight change has been that the amount of water for draw speed is now quite different. So the pastures here were not keeping up with water, so I've had to put a couple of wells. Wells now also auto output. You don't need to have a grabber on it, which is fantastic. Like, they should have already done that in my opinion, so it's great to see that change. So yeah, so that's now ticking along. Milk and eggs and fruit juice are making their way over here, increasing the amount of yellow coins we have to play with, and that's nicely increasing. I think we might need another milk pasture, as that one doesn't quite keep up. Eggs definitely don't, so we'll probably need another one of those at some point, but it's enough for now. It's boosting the happiness touch and is, I would say, increasing the yellow coins. What I want to do today, before we get started with the maze that is going to be creating cakes, is to double up on our kitchen producing the veggie stew and the jam. So I want to have another kitchen down here with the various ingredients also being directed over. That's going to massively change how this works, but it's also so we can just have one guy with a conveyor splitting between the two. I would put in over there. So first step, another kitchen, and then working out how we're going to split off the various parts, because the tomatoes would be the easiest at just putting a splitter if we have the kitchen itself here. Everything else is going to require like ups and downs and stuff, so it's probably going to require dismantling all of this and putting it back in place. So let's get our kitchen down. I think we're going to want to leave a little bit of a gap, so actually let's level here. Like, I'm going to put it a little bit of a distance away, but I'd rather it be a little bit of a distance that we've then got to take it, because that gives us a bit of breathing room. So that there, and then this is going to have jam and veggie stew. So that's all it's going to produce. So let's pause up, because it's going to require some thinking. Now, we've got quite a length that we can use for going up and down over things. So I think what we're going to do is bring the carrots out here. I put the carrots in there. That makes sense to me. So that would mean bringing the tomatoes up and over, the potatoes up and over, the sugar is going to have to move. But the berries can carry on as they are for now. It's the fun of having like a tight little area. It makes you have to stop and think. So yeah, okay, let's take that, take that, take that. And those will go there. I'm going to have to move that for the moment. And we put a splitter block there. Okay. I've just broken something. What did I break? I don't know what I broke. What did I do? I don't know. Right, that's gonna bite me in a second, I'm sure. Right. Right, so that can carry on. These will come down. Now, potatoes I want to take up and over here, and we'll have to bring them off at a later point. We'll work out what we're going to do with the sugar later. I'm just wondering if I want to mirror and also have that one coming off there. That might not be a bad idea. No, because the potatoes, if potatoes are having to go up and over, can we get away? It's an honest question. With only going up one, does that work? Does not impede the carrots. So yeah, only one is actually necessary. So I think that's what we're going to do. And then the sugar can go up and over one as well. Just to boost that. Just because it's slightly different. Part. Just to show the necessity of this. Right. Okay, so that's our carrots now reaching here. Our sugar now doesn't reach this. But we can bring the sugar up and over here. Only needs to go up one, I think. Difficulty is going to be in getting don't know if that's going to be enough because of that one. Let's try it. Do potatoes carry on or do they get stuck? They carry on. So that should now be all of that will go in line. Yeah. Okay. Now, potatoes. Do we bring the potatoes off here? I think that's probably a good plan to me. So like that. Do that like that. need to get the splitter in, which is just going to require... Ooh, okay, no, we can't use a splitter here because otherwise it'll try and put potatoes on the carrot line. If the carrot line ever dries up for any reason, that's going to be a problem. If we put a pusher in, it'll make this the dominant one. Yeah, let's use a pusher. I don't know if that's the right way to do this, but we'll see. That might be a problem, but we'll come back to it if it is. Right, so now potatoes are split off down here as a priority. As soon as this backlogs, they'll then carry on down here. That's fine. And as long as we use this as the dominant one then for all of it, so for the tomatoes as well, it won't be a problem. Or just a splitter for the tomatoes, because we can do that on the corner over here, which I think is what we will do. Just put that there and put a splitter like so. Right. Okay, so that gets all of that in place. Sugar and berries. Though the berries are now looking like they don't actually keep up. So maybe we just do it for the veggie stew for now, and we will deal with the other one later. So step 2. Let's have you do that for a second. Then do that. Just drop that one off, please, and then we need to do that. And we want a split block there. That should work. Now we need to take the veggie stew out of here, get it over our fish line and into the barn. Do we swap these around? Because then we can join. Yeah, I think we swap these around. So you grab the jam and you grab the veggie stew. So, still haven't found what I right-clicked earlier to mess something up over here, but I'm sure we'll find it at some point. Right, so we know we only need to go one higher, so let's actually do that. I'm not a fan of this being... Alright, I'm sure there's something in the settings. Because camera look mode and delete both being on right click is a pain. Let's have delete on that one. There we go. So now I can do that without accidentally destroying the universe. I don't like that. do like that. Okay. Oh, I don't know if this is going to fit. Oh, it does. Wonderful. Wasn't sure if that house would get in the way. So this now goes like that and like that, and we're golden. Let's just set this to only be veggie stews because at some point we'll try and get the jams over. But this is now 2 things producing the veggie stews, and we're no longer keeping up with tomatoes or potatoes, it looks like. So we need more of each of those, or we just need to be faster. It looks like we're growing enough. Definitely growing enough. Okay. Yeah, that looks good to me. Oh, you had forgotten how to do your job. Why are you struggling with this? You stand here, work that, take it to that. Can you do that? There we go. It just got weird because it was standing on the same spot. Right, actually I think I'm going to change those. Change that back. Let's have camera look mode be button 4 and secondary action be right click. Because telling workers what to do is just so instinctive on right click. I can do that for moving the camera around, that's not a problem. Although that apparently also does it on right click. Oh, I don't know. Okay, how many conveyors have we got? 50. So we're up to speed on that. I don't know if I want to double the storage. Keeping 100 of each, it will mean that the metal conveyors will eat the rest of the cloth conveyor. Yeah, do it. And we'll use metal conveyors for the next bit of the farm. Right. Cake to be fed into there. Step 1. Kitchen. How many workers have we got? Over 100. Okay, so the cake requires multiple steps, and we're probably actually going to want to split that across several kitchens. So let's just double check the steps again. So we need cake, we need jam, we need sugar. Cake requires flour, quite a bit of it. It's also a 10-second creation time there. Jam is a 5-second creation time and it requires 2, so 2 of them is actually fine. We don't want the jam being created in the same place because otherwise the berries get used up. So we need at least 2 kitchens, one for the final product and one for the intervening one. That's a good point. Does the cake use any of the same? Uses sugar. So we're going to want 3, or we're going to want to massively oversupply sugar to the because we could do the preparation for the jam. We could also do the jam in a different... Oh no, it wouldn't make any difference, because it'd still try and use the berries for the other things. You can't specify. That's one thing I'd like to see in future, the ability to specify what type of jam you want to make, so you can optimize things without needing multiple kitchens. Right, so 2 kitchens. Final product 1 doesn't need to be particularly far from the second one. Just working out which way around we want to do this. I think we want nice open space. Because with the amount of coins we've got, it really doesn't matter about the resources. We can plant every resource we want. So it's just about getting fuel to them both. So do that. You are going to be our finishing one. You are going to be... Now I could do cake and jam here. As I say, that requires... Oh, well, we don't need to get fuel to the final one. It doesn't actually require any fuel. That's good. Okay, yeah, that's better. Right. So then, let's go with the ingredients for the cake first. So first up, flour. While there's grain here, it's all up on a hill. Do we want to lower it down? And it does require 4. So we're going to want, I'd say, 2 farms feeding into multiple grain mills. In fact, let's just axe all of this, flatten it off. And just have a nice open area to work with. Like that. Okay. So, step 1. I'm going to want multiple grain mills. They can all feed onto the same line, that's not a problem. Might as well make that line. Like that. So 4-second creation time. Actually, we only need 2 to create that. Right. Now we need to keep up with that. So let's give that farm as much space as it can have. So one supply, water supply for and grain. Slightly reduced, but it means that we've got a slight buffer, just so we can see how things go there. Farm tiles, so let's do that and put a well. We might need multiple wells. but we'll see. See how well it keeps up. And we're going to need to supply fertilizer to it in good time. But that is not something we need to do immediately. So let's see how well that keeps up. Ideally these want to be running constantly. That's a good point. Actually, we're going to want metal conveyors, so let's increase the speed of these. Our default and replace that. Okay, so the idea is that this wants to be up to the next one before, or just as it's finishing, which it's not. So we need to be faster with our grain harvest. I think that's now the speed of the belt, isn't it? Okay, so do we want a farm for each of them? Would be the next idea. I think we maybe do, because that's not keeping up. It's close, but it's not quite enough, and not quite enough is not good enough. So actually, it doesn't even need to be a farm each if the farm has enough grain stocked in it. The belts, the splitter was the issue, I think. As long as this has enough grain to harvest. Oh, and it'll need the water. Well, you can just be a cloth conveyor, you don't need to be metal. There we go, that looks better to me. That's keeping up with that. So as long as this is ends up operating at maximum speed with 4 seconds, then this will keep up with the cake. So next up we need sugar. Could probably run that off the same. The question mark is whether there's going to be enough grain growing. I don't know that it will, but let's err on the side of caution. And just have another 2 rows here, which are going to be grain. And I've just noticed the time, we're up to our 30 minutes already, so that's going to be a part there. So we'll pick up next week with getting our other ingredients and hopefully getting the first cake off the production line. So come back next week to continue our cake making adventure in Factory Town. Thank you and see you there.